Plymouth Argyle arrived at Saltergate with a mission to achieve what Premiership Nottingham Forest couldn't. Chesterfield's FA Cup exploits this season have put them just 2 games away from Wembley, and it looked as if they'd get the chance to improve their promotion chances as well, when Argyle were reduced to 10 men after just 35 minutes. Ronnie Mauger claimed he went for the ball in this 2-footed lunge at Chris Beaumont. Referee Richard Poulain saw it differently, and Mauger was off. That was the major talking point of the first half, but the game really exploded into life after the break, when football took over for a brief spell. Argyle took the lead on 63 minutes when Mickey Evans showed strength, determination and skill to beat Billy Mercer. The way Evans battled to create the chance for himself, well, that just epitomised Argyle's commitment to their task. Their efforts to cover for the missing Mauger brought further reward 9 minutes later. Chris Billy and Carlo Corazin combined effectively on the right of Chesterfield's penalty area, and when the ball eventually came in, it fell to Mark Saunders, his first-time shot deflecting off a defender and past the luckless Mercer. It was no more than Argyle deserved for rallying so positively to the new manager's call for the players to stand up and be counted. Chesterfield don't lose many games at home, and they had no intention of letting this one go without a fight. They put Argyle's hard-working defence under a fair bit of pressure in the closing stages, but the back four managed to hold firm until 5 minutes from time, spurred on by the usual fanatical support from the green and white army. The goal that turned out to be nothing more than a consolation for the home side came from Jonathan Howard, with a shot that had Bruce Grobbelaar well beaten. For once, Argyle's marking from the long throw was rather suspect, and Chesterfield took the chance to set up a dramatic finale. Nobody could have imagined the dreadful scenes that were to follow. The tension that had been bubbling under throughout the game finally boiled over into an ugly brawl involving almost every player on the pitch, and both clubs could now face an FA inquiry into the conduct of their players, with Chesterfield also likely to come under scrutiny after fans invaded the pitch. Dismissals for Darren Carr and Kevin Davis means they'll miss Chesterfield's FA Cup quarter-final against Wrexham. Argyle's Tony James and Richard Logan were also sent off, making it the first time in league history that 5 players have been given their marching orders in one game.
The incident at the end has gone a more, which was a great performance by Plymouth Argyle. I'm not complaining about sendings off, I'm not complaining about referees, I'm not a whinger. I refuse to discuss referees. I think the referee had a very difficult game to handle today, and I believe he's done a good job under the circumstances. The incident started with a foul on Grobbelaar, who was obviously concussed. That's what created the problem. But there was an awful lot of passion out there, and maybe, and I've got to be careful here, I might have wound the players up a little bit too much. There was a lot of confrontations out there, a hard game for the referee, I've suggested. But, you know, if I've got to go into football matches, and we're not going to compete, we ain't going to win anything. And we competed well today, and we have beaten a good side.
Well, quite amazing scenes at Saltergate, and Argyle now facing major problems with suspensions. But that result has eased their relegation problems. They're now 7 points clear of the drop zone. Well, it's been quite a week on and off the field. Disappointment for Torquay and talking points for Exeter and Plymouth fans.
There was some good and bad news for Torquay on Tuesday night. Their playoff hopes received a major setback, but Caribbean star Rodney Jack did his chances of a big money move no harm at all. Mansfield took the lead after just 2 minutes, but watching scouts from Sunderland and Bristol City must have been hugely impressed by Jack's performance, as he quickly came close to grabbing an equaliser. That honour fell to assistant coach Gary Nelson, who saw his shot somehow evade the grasp of Mansfield keeper Ian Bowling. Sadly, Torquay couldn't build on that stroke of luck in the second half, and it was the visitors who claimed the points. John Gittins unfortunate to give away a penalty, and Johnny Walker on target with a spot kick. It's not every day of the week that a psychic launches a takeover bid for your favourite club, but that's the prospect facing Exeter City fans. The man that made spoon bending a popular pastime, Uri Geller, could soon be using his paranormal powers to move Exeter up the league. He's a big Reading fan, but his son Daniel follows the Grecians, and now Uri is considering launching a move to take over a second or third division club, with Exeter an obvious target.
Daniel is an Exeter fan, and it's just a mystery to me. Why? Because it just suddenly dawned on him. It was like something, ignited in him on Exeter. And my only explanation, and it's a very paranormal explanation, is that he probably lived in Exeter in his past life. That's my only explanation.
One man who most Plymouth supporters thought had magical powers, especially when it came to working miracles on the pitch, was Neil Warnock. Less than 3 weeks after being sacked from the home park hot seat, he's taken the manager's job at First Division strugglers Oldham. Some Argyle supporters thought Mick Jones might move up north to make up the new Boundary Park management team, but Andy Ritchie is the man occupying the number 2 spot at the moment.
So let's take a check on some of yesterday's other local scores in the ISIS League. Yeovil
Well, mixed emotions from early, disgust and disappointment at the scenes. A lot of tension there. I mean, we've heard that the Plymouth manager has quoted that he perhaps wound his players up too much. Clearly that was the case.
Derbyshire police will now study pictures of the incident before deciding whether to bring charges. A report from the referee will help the FA determine what action they take. Trina Lake for West Country Live.
There's a lot more on that story with Mark in the sports news in a couple of minutes' time. The trial of 3 teams.
can expect a hefty Saltergate. The Football Association and the police have launched an investigation into this flare-up towards the end of Argyle's game at Chesterfield. A meeting's planned for later this week between the police, the Crown Prosecution Service and football officials to determine exactly what action should be taken. Argyle manager Mick Jones has joined me here in the studio. Mick, there's no getting away from it. They were pretty disgraceful scenes, weren't they?
Yes, I mean, I would never try and justify what happened at Saltergate. The biggest problem I've got is that what has happened has overshadowed a magnificent performance, and many people have said to me, particularly travelling Argyle supporters, said it's one of the best away performances that they've ever seen in all the years they've been following Argyle.
But come on, Mick, you must be angry with the players. They're highly paid professionals. They should be setting an example, particularly for youngsters, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I would never try and duck an issue, particularly from professional footballers. But I've got to say that had the Chesterfield player not attacked Grobler the way he did, this incident wouldn't have happened in the first place. And Grobler, being who he is, players are very protective, particularly when I'm trying to pull them all together. The club has been split over a number of months and even years in the past. I'm trying to bring that all together.
And professional players have provocation all the time, don't they, in each and every game they play?
Absolutely. And as I'm trying to justify, Mark, that I would never condone what happened, but reasonably I'm trying to understand it as well.
What's likely to happen now? Argyle are going to get heavily punished.
Well, probably, but the bottom line is the referee's report has got to go to the Football Association. I spoke to the Chief of Police in Chesterfield after the game. He approached me and said to me that as far as he was concerned, he was quite happy for the referee to deal with the Football Association on this matter.
OK, Mick, thanks for clearing that up. A quick word about the manager's job. I gather on the grapevine that it's going to be offered to you definitely this week. You face quite a challenge at Argyle still, though, don't you?
Amazing, these grapevines, aren't they? I haven't spoken to the chairman about it. It's something that is a side issue with me at the moment because the players are vitally important to me, as are the travelling supporters who have been with us and will be with us tomorrow. They've been magnificent, and my first priority is to get 3 points.
Mick, we wish you well. Thanks for joining us in the studio tonight.
You're welcome.
Well, as Mick suggested there, that punch-up overshadowed a fabulous win for Argyle on Saturday. They get themselves some breathing space near the bottom of the table with a 2-1 victory. Goals from Mickey Evans and Mark Saunders did the trick as Argyle continued their recent revival. And expect home park confirmation about a new manager in the next few days. Well, good news too for Peter Fox at Exeter. A much-needed victory for City on Saturday. Danny Bailey.
Wednesday at 8. You're watching West Country, and it's time to look back at the weekend's activities on the pitch now.